Hi everybody, Jackson here. Welcome back to the daily endeavours for the 22nd of March. As always, there will be timestamps in the description if you want to fast forward through any of this stuff. The Golden Vendor's up, so I'm just going to chat real quick about this. We've got Domihau and Trollking's Shoulders. I don't think anything here is worth purchasing. I'll just quickly explain them, what I think is worth talking about. But yeah, I wouldn't really bother with anything here. So, firstly, Domihau. This is a very niche, very interesting, but very impractical set to use. The 10-meter ring, it doesn't create, like, the AoE isn't the whole 10-meter circle. It's only the tiny ring around that 10-meter point that will go around your player. So, if you cast it, there's like a ring that comes out to about here, and it just goes across. This is the only section that actually deals any damage. So using it as like a... I would have thought like using it as a big AoE like proc set would have been fucking amazing. It's really... The reason I say it's niche is because it's really good against dragons, because that's basically where you're going to be standing with them the entire time, because the little... with the big circle underneath the dragons, the amount of space that you have usually is like perfectly lined up with where the line sits, well, where the ring sits. So this is actually really good against dragons. Or like if you can perfectly sit still and just deal the damage while, like, when a boss is not moving, but there's like so few instances where that's going to be something you can just do all the time. Like, and in that case, it'd be optimized groups, and there's just better sets than this. So yeah, I wouldn't really buy this. I will say the one piece is actually pretty good. It gives you both maximum stamina and magicka, which in some cases is actually really handy. But yeah, just the two piece isn't... Unless you're fighting dragons, or unless you really want that weapon of spell damage, it's not that great. Especially with the 15-second cooldown, it's quite brutal. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest this myself. It's definitely interesting and can be fun. And yeah, great on dragons, but it's a shoulder as well, so you can easily get the shoulder from using Undaunted keys. Trollking, this is a easy to use, easy to get, just like good healing set. The reason I say it's easy to use is because you don't have to worry about positioning. I mean, you have to make sure you're close enough for it to affect them, but you don't have to worry about casting specific skills. You don't have to worry about where it goes. You don't have to worry about when it applies. It will just do this automatically. Gives you decent health recovery for whoever's affected. Affects you as well. And health recovery is actually pretty damn good in, again, niche situations. A great example of this is Veteran Sunspire. There's like this tomb mechanic that you have to deal with on the Ice Dragon, Locustes. And what that does is it severely reduces the healing done on the target. So basically, if you don't heal them to full, they explode and they kill the entire group. As the healer, you need to be able to heal them through that. Things that give health recovery, like Trollking, are really helpful. I still think... I don't know if Earthgore is still better for that sort of thing, or just other things, but I know Trollking's a pretty good option there, because health recovery is actually quite strong in that situation, because it's not affected by the healing done reduction. At least it did when I was healing Veteran Sunspire back in the day. I don't know if they changed that, but it still should be the case. It used to also be crazy strong in PvP, because originally in PvP the Minor and Major Defile buffs never used to affect health recovery. So this was like a great way to counter healing done, like stacking healing done reductions. Which was a lot bigger back in the day, but it's not great in PvP. It's good. It's okay, especially because it's so easy to use. But again, it's a shoulder, easy to get with dungeon keys, and yeah, you can get this if you want, but yeah, not worth the gold, I think, to spend. All right, so now we'll go through the rings. Oh, sorry, the necklaces. Hatchling Shell. This and Sench are both base game. Easy to get from Dolmen's, like, sets that I would not say is worth 125,000 gold, because you can just get the jewelry from like guild stores usually, because lots of people put this on guild stores because they're just not worth that much, and then just upgrade them that way. But yeah, you can. It's your call what you want to do. I don't mind Hatchling Shell myself. The as you can see, the scales off your max health, so it's okay on tanks. The biggest problem, and the reason I wouldn't suggest it too much, it's great for fights for tanks with lots of damage over time stuff, because shields are not they don't take block mitigation into account. So when you get hit by like a really hard hitting attack, say you're fighting the serpent and he hits you with the heavy attack, does a ton of damage on vet, the shield will get removed straight away and not do much, because the shield takes full damage. The damage shield here acts as if you're not blocking, and it just strips away the whole shield and doesn't give you fuck all. So against heavy, like hard-hitting direct attacks, this is a useless set. But in situations like, for example, the constant damage over time that what's the name, Teleria does in Dreadsail, I don't mind it. She still does a ton of direct damage anyway, so it's kind of not that relevant. But it's not a terrible like just selfish set. You won't see these kind of sets very often though in a lot of like recommended tank builds, just because everyone's like, oh, I want more damage done. So yeah, but I don't mind this as a selfish set personally, because every 6 seconds you get a shield, and it goes up to like on my tanks with about 40,000 health, it goes up to like 8k damage, which is pretty damn good. Like in normal, it'll basically trivialize a lot of shit, especially if you have something like Battalion Defender or Cyrodiil's Crest as well. It basically just block and just heal like crazy and never really have to worry about anything in normal trials. You know, normal trials are easy, but just makes them even easier. Now, I will talk about Sench next, because these two I'll just basically talk about at the same time. Whenever you dodge, increase your critical damage and critical healing by 15%. I don't know, I haven't used this set too much, but it seems like a decent option in PvP, because you are generally going to dodge a lot in PvP, and crit damage and critical healing is pretty damn good in PvP, because burst is everything in PvP. So this is an okay set. That being said, it is a gold 125,000 one, and you can just get these easily from guild stores, because they will be very frequent in like they're in Reaper's Marsh, and people do those Dolmens kind of frequently. So I would just do it that way. And I don't know, I'll have to test, but I'm pretty certain that the critical damage and critical healing in the 5-piece is not affected by quality. So even if you have like blue quality or green quality stuff, the effect of the trait and just the trait, or maybe the enchant if the trait is infused, will be a little bit less, but the 5-piece effect will not be affected. So you could just use you can especially just use purple, and the difference is going to be like incredibly negligible. So yeah, again, don't really suggest buying this for gold. I will double check that, but I'm pretty sure, yeah, that it'll still be 15% even at like white or green. You can actually get white like overland stuff, as far as I'm aware. You can only get green as a minimum, and you can only get purple as a maximum. So that's why they put these in gold, because it's the only way to get them in gold unless you upgrade them. Alright, so Noble Duelist and Undaunted Infiltrator, these are basically the same thing. They just increase the light and heavy attack damage that you do. So these are generally used quite frequently in heavy attack builds. They're both good sets. They're both good. They both have, like, if you're looking for a heavy attack sorcerer, they're both okay. But the issue with these two is, Stormmaster is a good example. That's a problem. So Noble Duelist, light armor, and what's the other one? Infiltrator. Oh yeah, so it's medium. So Infiltrator's not too bad, but Stormmaster is one from Tempest Island that's very similar, and it's it's about the same, but it gives you crit chance and weapon and spell damage. That, I think, is the main issue with Infiltrator in comparison, because that gives you 2 sets of max stamina. Now, in most cases, those 2 max stamina bonuses are not going to be as good as crit chance or weapon and spell damage, so I think it's less powerful than other ones. Especially, Deadly is probably one of the ones you want to use as a Lightning Staff heavy build, or Order's Wrath, which are honestly both I mean, Deadly's quite expensive, but they're both... You don't have to really farm them like you do with the other ones from dungeons. Like, especially Orders Wrath, you can just craft this. It's really easy to craft. So this and Sergeants is what you generally use. And that would still perform just as well, if not better, than those kinds of sets for a Lightning Staff heavy build. So my advice here is, again, just don't do these. So this one, you have to use in melee, and this one just requires you to cast a Magicka skill. Whereas Orders Wrath and Deadly are just active all the time. So I don't rely on I don't like the idea of using these two too much, purely because, not because they're not good sets, but just because there's better sets that are most importantly easier to access. So yeah, again, 200,000 gold for this is, wouldn't suggest it. Right, so that should be everything. If you got any questions for any of this stuff, just let me know. I'll be more than happy to talk about it. Or if you got some stuff to add yourself of things that you know about these sets, because yeah, I haven't used these sets too much, but I've been playing this game long enough. I have had experience with them in the past. But yeah, I can only say so much just because, you know, I'm one person. Alright, so let's get into the endeavors themselves. So we've got a 15 seal set with 1.7k gold. It's a pretty good set. Crafting with alchemy, laundering items, earning Telvar, recharging 2 weapon enchants, and completing 2 public dungeon group events. So I'm just going to say skip this one. The only instance I would just do this one, because it's all affected, like it's very unreliable. Like there's a lot of things that got to go right for it to be fast, and in any other case it's going to be quite slow. So the only reason I would do this one myself is if you have Pelinal's boomboxes from the PvP event still, or if you have the Telvar satchels from doing the quests in Imperial City, because these give you Telvar. You can actually use these, because it says through event rewards as well. That also counts for the satchels that you just get from the regular quests. So you can actually do that to progress this one. In any other case, I wouldn't really suggest it. Like, the only real way I like doing this one is to have 10k Telvar in your inventory, and jump into a campaign and just sit like an absolute coward on the starting towers, the spawn towers, and just attacking the enemies around the tower and just doing that. Any other thing I think is just unreliable. Yeah, I still think these ones are way easier, so I'm just going to suggest you do those. Alright, let's start with what I think is the most straightforward one. We've got recharging 2 weapon enchantments. So, I imagine most, if not all people, are going to know how to do this one. You just go to your inventory, right click, and go charge. You need soul gems for this. Now, if you only got one weapon, what you can do is either maybe do the public dungeon group event one, because this one's also very easy. I know it sounds annoying with 2 of them, but very easy. You can do the group events, attack enemies, use up a charge, and then recharge it again, and that will just get your endeavor done. Or you can just go and attack something in the wild, like a rat or a mud crab or something. Actually, don't attack a rat, because that won't actually proc an enchant, I don't think. Yeah, just attack anything, just like a humanoid or a mud crab or anything you can find, and that will use up one charge, and you can just recharge it again. So yeah, those are the 2 ways. I assume most people have tons of soul gems. The easiest way to get soul gems is just to either go do a Dolmen, or go to a Delve, kill the Delve boss. They drop soul gems. Dungeons drop soul gems, like the bosses. Pretty much any boss anywhere drops soul gems. So yeah, you'll always get lots of those usually. If not, you can buy them from Mystics. The one in Oridon is here. Bulk Guard, Mistress Aramil, and Stuff Arcana. They sell filled and non-filled soul gems, so you can soul trap stuff and fill your soul gems that way. Stuff you can do. But I assume most people know what they're doing with that. Alright, so next up we'll go laundering, because I think this is another easy one you can do. So I'm going to link in the description my like a 10 setup guides video that I've done, because I explain how to get to Belkarth to do the laundering endeavor, and I explain how to get to Na-Totambu, which is the one I'll suggest for doing public dungeon group events. 2 really easy, like just a little bit of a trick getting to them, and then from that point it's really easy to use both of these endeavors. Let's go to Craglorn into Belkarth, because I think this place is great for laundering. Now you can use, if you've got Necrom as a DLC, you can use the location in Necrom, the city. You go into the Outlaws Refuge, go to the north exit when you're in there, and you go to the Necrom Underways. Tons of urns in there that you can steal from, and then the fence is just inside when you go back inside from the Underways, and you can just launder it that way. But I actually find this one's just a little bit quicker, so let me show you. So what you want to do is come to the Gem and Flask here. It's just slightly south of the Wastrine and Belkarth. What you want to do is come upstairs. You've got this just desk over here, and it's just got tons of shit here. So just make sure you go to Settings, Gameplay, and turn Prevent Stealing Place Items off, and that will allow you to take the stuff. Now, you will not get a bounty here because there's nobody to see you do anything. And take everything here, including the rabbit that's like hidden in that spot. Now, at this point, you should have 10 items. So we've got, yeah, 7 garlic straight away, so that's enough. If not, you've got a cupboard here, you've got greens baskets, you've got millet sacks, you've got barrels here, crates. And if you go outside, there's also more stuff that's accessible without getting a bounty. So you've got these barrels here, this crate here. I don't know if these are safe, but you can get these as well. Just got to be a little bit careful of people walking past like that, for example. Now, once you've gotten enough items, you come over here. Probably grab this Nern root too while you're here if you spot it. But yeah, you just come into this Outlaws Refuge. So once you're inside, just come through here. Now what I like to do is just pop through this spot here, down here, through the waterfall, and your fence is right here. Talk to her, make sure you select the Launder tab, because I've had it plenty of times where I've sold a bunch of shit by accident. And just launder 3 items there, sell the rest. And then what I like to do is come over to this merchant over here, Grezabesha, and whatever items that you laundered, just go here and just sell them here. So that way you don't lose any money for laundering the items. It's like 10 gold, but yeah, I want to save every penny, right? And you'll get even more gold anyway from doing this, so yeah, it's good. Alright, so I'll talk about alchemy now. Alright, alchemy. So I suggest using poisons for this, because at base, a poison will create 4 items per craft, per amount of resources used. Whereas the regular water solvents, clear waters here for potions, these ones you produce 1 at a time. So you want anything that has this like yellow color. So Ica, Gall, Alkahest, if you've got any of those, is probably one of the best, because those are so ridiculously cheap, but you do need to be a high level in alchemy. If you're unsure, Ica is something you can always use, so get some Ica, and then you just need a few items for alchemy. So, a simple explanation of how to just like do this easily is to just get 2 items and just check what this says. If it says unknown, you're good. If it says inert, don't do it. Just choose 2 others, inert, unknown. Perfect. So there you go. Just craft that. You got 4 items there. As you can see here, it produces 4. Now, I will just point out quickly that with chemistry, you can get extra poisons per attempt, but this is not. It's relevant for other endeavors for sure, but for this one, it doesn't really matter too much. But yeah, if you have chemistry 3 out of 3, you can use you can create 4 potions in a single batch, but yeah, need to be high level alchemy for that. So there's 2 things that I'm gonna put in the description as well for doing this one easy. First one is alchemy. For the UESP page, there are... Oh, whoops. Don't want to edit that. So there's these 2 and 3 reagent sections here that you can check for all the different recipes that you can use each one for. I wouldn't suggest looking at these too much. What I will say, though, is the reason I use this one here is just there's a few here that I don't suggest using, just in any situation. Columbine is definitely one. These are super expensive. I don't like to use Violet Coprinus either. Pretty much anything here I don't like to use, except for Nightshade, Butterfly Wing, Fleshfly Larva, everything else, a Spider Egg as well. Basically everything else, though, is quite expensive. Anything here I would not suggest using at all. And then everything else here doesn't matter. But yeah, this just gives you a rundown of literally every single possible combination here that you can make that works. But I don't find that to be too helpful for just crafting poisons. There's a few of these on the web, but the other ones are still... One is easier to use but super outdated, and the one for ESO Hub I just don't really think that's worth using, because it depends, or it asks more on like what kind of potion you want to craft, as opposed to what items work with each other. So all you do here is choose your solvent here. So just go Alkahest or just Ica. Doesn't matter here. Every combination works regardless of the solvent. But what you do here is, if you've got one of these here in your inventory, what you can do is just click on it, go here, and then look at these 4 icons here. Look for them on here. So you can see this one here is Drain Magicka. So clicking on this will list all of the possible other items you can use with it to create a potion. So if we go Cornflower here, click on that. As you can see, it creates a poison. So that's another way to quickly check what ones you can use if they're in your bank, for example, to get a potion working. Could also use Bug Loss. I wouldn't use Columbine, Dragon Ram, or any of that stuff there because it's quite dear and quite hard to find. But in that case, if that doesn't work, you can just go, if you don't have anything there, just check the other ones. So this one here, so that is Minor Breach. So you've got Violet Coperness and Beetle Scuttle as well. Wouldn't suggest it to either, to be honest, but that is one other thing you can try. And just keep going through. So weapon, spell critical as well. Yeah, this one. So again, you can try these ones as well. Water Hyacinth and Lady Smock is a common pairing that I usually use because they're both quite cheap. Yeah, you can just use this to check as well. I'll make sure that's in the description. But yeah, just don't stress too much. It's only 2 items, and I guess the amount of gold that you'll get will be more than even if you use a Columbine, it's probably worth more of how much gold you get here than anything else. But yeah, definitely try cheaper options there if you can. I will link my common pairings that I use, but yeah, just don't worry too much about it. Alright, group events. In a majority of cases, the problem you're going to have with this one is you go to the public dungeon, you kill the group event, and then you have to wait. Either you might even get there and there might not be a group event up, you might need to wait for it to respawn. It can take 5 minutes for these to respawn, so you are just sit there twiddling your thumbs wondering what the fuck else to do. And in that case, let me show you something that will make this a lot easier. So what you want to do is come to Alika Desert to the northeast. I have shown in that 10 setups guide video I explained before how to get here easily. TLDR, you take the boat signs and you just go north around here with a speed build, and it's quite easy from there. But once you get access to Set Spine, you've got easy access to Na-Totambu, which is perfect for this one. It's the quickest one to do by a country mile for public dungeon group events, and I'll show you why. So you want to come up here a bit north and then cross over to the other side of the road. You just come up here, and then there'll be like a little trapdoor for Na-Totambu that you can find. Okay, cool. So once you're inside, just travel past these guys here. If you've got a cloaking build, you can just run past them. Just come over here. You'll be able to spot it. It's got an open area and it might be lit up with some things over here. Yeah, perfect. So someone's doing the group event right now. So it'll spawn these 3 enemies here. The spider, the scorpion, and the scarab. Just attack them at all. You just do like one light attack and it counts. I think even if you don't attack them, it still counts. Yeah, so that's 1. Now from this point, you have to wait 30 seconds and then everything will respawn. And by respawn, I mean the things will light up. That's why it's quicker, because it's not an actual enemy respawn. It's like a mechanic respawn. It's these pressure plates. So the combination is as follows: both scarabs, opposite sides. Both spiders, opposite sides, and then scorpions in the middle. You can do this on your own. You don't need 2 people. So stand on this, and then stand on this one. They'll stop lighting up. As you can see, you can just do this on your own. Don't stand on it. You almost did. Alright, and then these 2. After that, they'll spawn, and the enemies themselves are just public dungeon bosses. They're a little bit tanky, but they're not like they're not like world bosses or anything. They're not super difficult. Yeah, at that point, you're done. Your endeavors are done. At this point, if you're still going to do the recharge one, you'll probably have used up a bit of your charge of your weapon, so you can just do that too. Yeah, so lots of easy things to do here. So basically, if you don't want to use up any alchemy ingredients, you can just do this one instead, and it takes like, I don't know, couple of minutes at least, but yeah, another easy set to do. So, alright, daily is concluded. If you've got any questions about any of this stuff, as always, just ask in comments. I'll help you out if you need. But thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for your support as always. I will see you all next time, and peace out.